Is it analyst or analyst? I can never figure that out. Holy smokes, guys! MU stock made a big downward move today. Micron is a stock a lot of you guys out there own or have been looking into buying. It's a super low PE company. It has been reporting phenomenal numbers. An investment bank, an analyst from an investment bank came out today, very negative on it. We're going to look at what he said. I'm going to give you my opinion on what he said. Also, Jim Cramer came out and made some comments about MU today. Stock had a very bad day, as you see, and I'm going to kind of share my opinion on all this. It's now below $50. This was a stock that was over $60 just, what was that, about 2 weeks ago or so. It dropped around 6.5% today, around $3.55. And so here's what the analyst had to say. Shares of Micron are down Thursday after analysts at UBS initiated coverage of the stock with a sell rating. Okay, a sell rating. The analyst, led by Timothy, whatever his last name is, has a negative view of Micron due to the cyclical memory concerns and big estimate cuts. This guy says he initiated coverage on Micron along with many other companies in the semiconductor industry. In general, he wrote, the supply chain has struggled to keep inventory growing anywhere close to revenue growth during the past 4 quarters and entirely in the second half of 2017. This has helped fuel a very favorable cyclical backdrop for the sector with respect due to revenue and margins. But this factor is rapidly waning and will likely shift to more of a headwind in the second half of 2018. All right, and he also initiated coverage on a bunch of other stocks and whatnot. So first, let's talk about his comments, and we'll get to the Jim Cramer ones, and I'll just kind of give you my full opinion. So he's basically saying what everybody already knows, like memory could potentially weaken in the back half of 2018. I think even people that are bullish on the stock understand that is definitely a possibility that in the second half of 2018, prices could weaken a bit, and that could maybe hurt profits a bit. But this is a stock right now, and we'll look at this PE. It's an unbelievably low PE. I believe on the forward PE basis, it's under 5, okay? So unless you're expecting prices to drop through the floor, all right, this is a stock that still is insanely undervalued when you look at it compared to anywhere in the market. So unless you're expecting pricing to just fall out through the floor and just go completely bad, this is still a very, very cheap stock. We'll look at some of the statistics in just a minute, okay? He says Flash has peaked, okay? He says DRAM no, but Flash has peaked. So his opinion, if Micron stock is going to go up, basically DRAM needs to stay very strong because Flash is now peaked in his opinion. It's not, prices aren't going to, go higher from here. And so his opinion on the stock is DRAM has to continue to stay strong for several quarters in order for the stock to go up more. That's interesting. That's his insight, and that's what he believes, okay? So let's look at the current year. Analysts this year are expecting around $11 per share in EPS, all right? There's a stock that's under $50 right now, $11 in EPS. Next year, they're expecting, the analysts on average, who are also very bullish, right? They're expecting around $10 in EPS next year, which is down around $1, okay? You look at revenue, they're expecting revenue to be slightly up, next year in 2019. Obviously, this year is supposed to be, another stellar year there. So even, super bullish analysts are still expecting next year to not be as good as what 2018 is going to be, okay? That's what everyone's expecting. Now, on the flip side, no one's expecting this company to do better in 2019 than 2018. That sets it up in a really good position in terms of everyone's expecting next year to be worse for Micron than this year. If Micron can have an even better year in terms of EPS next year, imagine what that can do for the stock, and imagine the way that would flip the script there, because everyone's expecting not much next year, a down year, and if they can flip the script somehow and it's actually a more positive year, that is huge, guys. Now this stock, as we already looked at, the trailing PE on this one, it's under 8 right now, okay? Trailing PE under 8, forward PE under 5 on this one, okay? Under 5. And the way I think about Micron, Micron has 2 big competitors, okay? One is that company named SK Hynix or whatever. The other main competitor they have out there is Samsung. Those are their 2 main competitors. It's kind of a 3-horse race in the memory game, all right? Especially when you're talking about Flash and you're kind of talking about DRAM. It's a 3-horse race and everybody's kind of behind there. And the way I kind of think about their business, it reminds me a lot of like the oil and gas sector, okay? It's a need-based business. I almost think about Micron as like an Exxon, what ExxonMobil kind of represents to, oil and oil oil products, I kind of think of Micron representing that in the memory space. And, ExxonMobil is a company here that, their profits can go down big time as long as, oil prices go down. We look at ExxonMobil, one year they're doing $16 billion in profits, right? The next year they're doing 7.8. And then this past year they jump up to nearly $20 billion in profit. That's the type of company I kind of think about. But ExxonMobil, this is a company, oil and gas sector, these companies traded in the 16, PE range. So I say to Micron, I'm like, how is this one being disrespected so bad in terms of the way this company is being valued by Wall Street? It's a 5 PE on this company, below a 5.4 PE on this company. A company that almost no one out there is expecting prices to drop through the floor and it's just become an unprofitable company overnight or things like that. Think about it in this respect. If Micron's profits were halved overnight, if their profits were halved overnight, we're still at a company that has a forward PE of what, 10? And that's if they were cut in half overnight. They're still around a 10. That's still way below what the market's trading at and stocks on average, okay? So in my opinion, this is a type of stock, in my opinion, that deserves to have a higher multiple on it. Unless you're expecting prices to fall through the floor. And I almost see no analyst that believes, or anyone out there that believes, pricing is just going to fall through the floor and, everyone's just going to start producing massive amounts of, memory and whatnot, and it's just going to tear the price apart. I don't really see that, guys. But at the same time, it's not a stock I own. It's not a stock I own. It's a stock I pay very close attention to. I know it's a stock a lot of you guys own out there. It could be potentially a stock I own at some point in time, especially now that it's dropped under $50 at this point. Could potentially be a stock I add. I love the way Micron has gotten that balance sheet much more focused. They've really been cutting down on the debt. That's really big, especially for an industry where pricing can change. That is something everyone knows. But what that analyst brought out, in my opinion today, was no new information, and yet the stock dropped 6.5%. There's no new information there. Everyone knows, every single person that's in Micron stock, unless they're completely clueless and they're just trying to get it for a trade or whatever, everyone in Micron stock knows that pricing could weaken in the back half of 2018. Everyone knows that. That is no surprise to anyone. So the fact that he comes out and says it, puts a sell rating on the stock, it falls 6.5%. That's just Wall Street for you sometimes, guys. That's just the way it goes. So we'll see what happens with Micron over time, but I can tell you that company is printing money right now. They're making money hand over fist, and they should continue to throughout at least 2018, more than likely into 2019. And what most people are expecting for 2019 is maybe a slight dip in profits, but still, if that company earns $10 in EPS, is that really the end of the world? $10 in EPS and the stock's trading at $50? That's not so bad, guys. That's not so bad. So anyways, I really want to know your guys' opinion on Micron. Is this a stock you own? Is this a stock you're planning on looking into, maybe buying? Is this a stock you already own and you're buying more shares? Did you sell off because he came out with this sell rating? I really want to know your guys' opinion down there in that comment section on Micron stock. I would love to hear it. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and have a great day.